let me ask you this then. The real estate market, right? Obviously, there was during the pandemic, 2020, 2021, the real estate market was hot. It was going crazy. Interest rates were the lowest we've ever seen for a long time. We're talking sub 3% interest rates, wild time, right? And I tried to buy up as many houses as I could during that period of time. But we've seen the interest rates continuously go up and up and up. And I think we're sitting somewhere between 7 and 8% right now at the moment for investors. What are your thoughts on the real estate market now? How should people move? I know you had mentioned that you had gotten some deals that you were able to steal, basically. I actually closed my first commercial deal not too long ago, thanks to you, some advice that you gave. So how should people navigate the real estate market on the residential side and the commercial side, given the current climate with higher interest rates than before?
Yeah, great question. They're completely different, by the way. I'm glad to know that you understand they're different. Most people think real estate, they think single-family homes. There's no deals to be had in single-family homes. That is not where the carnage is. Okay, real estate, you can literally take the line of real estate and track the line and watch what interest rates do to real estate. The only thing that drops the value of real estate is debt. There's never a housing crisis without first having a debt crisis. Never. In the history of real estate, you never have a real estate crisis until you have a debt crisis. 1995, 2001, 2008. Those are debt crises that are called housing crises. Okay, there's no housing crisis. 70% of all the loans on single family homes today in America are under 4%. You don't have any sellers, man. You don't have any sellers with urgency. So to get a deal, you need a seller that's got a gun to his head. Now, where's that? True. It's all in apartments, hotels, industrial, office buildings. I think I said office. And it's a bunch of it's in apartment. There's $2.7 trillion worth of debt that's due in the next about 30 months. And most of it's sitting in apartments. Los Angeles, San Diego, San Francisco, Austin, Texas, Dallas, Houston, Miami, Nashville, Atlanta. I'm telling you guys the playbook. I'm giving you exactly where I'm at. The Carolinas, North and South, okay? Like all up and down the East Coast, Miami, Fort Lauderdale, Tampa. Like there's no shortage of this shit. I'm going to get so rich in this cycle. It's going to be stupid, ridiculous, crazy. And anybody can do exactly what I'm doing. I have my whole playbook laid out. I can't buy all this real estate. Mm-hmm. And I'm just telling you, the playbook is to find anything that was bought in the years you mentioned, 2021 and 22. Find someone, their debt's up. Now it's been 4 years now. Maybe what is it, 2020? Yeah, 3 years. It's been 3 years. The debt is due now. They probably had a 3-year debt. The debt's due. And because interest rates went up, the property value or the debt that will support went down. These things work inversely. So the debt interest payments went up and the loan the next buyer can get went down. And if the loan goes down, the value of the property will go down. So that's where the steals are right now. They're in large complexes. The bigger you can go, the better. What you're really looking for is not even, I'll just give you another little hack here. Look for something 3 years old or better than that. Look for an institution that has a lot of real estate, lots, like hundreds of thousands or 50,000 units. And they bought let's say they bought a third of their portfolio was bought in the last 3 to 4 years. Look for the next level of all the purchases in their portfolio, something that's 10 years old, not 3 years old, because they still have equity in those.
Okay. They
can't sell the newer stuff because they're going to take a loss and they don't want to report a loss to their investors. So they'll go to the tranche underneath it that was bought back in 2015, and they're going to sell that tranche.
Okay. You said a lot of really important stuff there that I kind of want to unpack for the audience who might not be as real estate savvy.
That was good.
So in this world, there's residential chat, and then that's 4 units or below, and then there's commercial. And Grant, correct me if I'm wrong here. I'm just going to try to summarize what you said. Basically, you're saying the residential game might not be worth it because 70% of these single-family homes have an interest rate of below 4%, so they're not selling. So the impetus for them to sell is not there.
They're going to list. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but they're going to list their property. You're going to see all this. The number of listings in Florida has exploded. Oh, well, yeah. So, and?
Okay. So there's not really.
Like, it doesn't mean, bro, anybody sold anything, and it definitely doesn't mean anybody dropped the price.
Okay. So the pressure for them to sell isn't there. But what you're saying on the commercial side, that pressure's there because a lot of these guys got unorthodox loans, adjustable rate mortgages.
Hey, your loan is due, and bro, we've already talked about this shit. We already talked about it last month, talked about it the month before that. We talked about it 3 months ago. The loan is due, and the committee wants it paid off now. So and they're like, oh, okay, let me see if I can pay it off. And they owe, let's say, $80 million. Okay, they took a loan out for $80 million at 3%.
Okay.
Now that loan's $80 million at 7%. The difference in those 4 points is going to drop the value of the new loan, and they don't have the money, bro. I'm talking about the biggest companies on planet Earth, the biggest institutions in the world,
BlackRock,
the wealthiest groups on planet Earth. You said one of them. I can't say their names. Okay, I can say Blue Rock. I can say Twinklewood.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't. I can say Brown Sacks.
So
you're at Rumble. We're rumbling.
Let's go.
So so I make sure I understand. So okay. So on the commercial side, so residential's out for you. On the commercial side, a lot of these people that get these loans, they got adjustable rate mortgages, which comes due in 3, 7, 5 years. So the bank is saying, hey, we lent you this money. You need to pay off the full property now. And they're saying, damn, I don't got the money. So it puts them in a rock and a hard place to sell. And then that's where you come in and purchase.
That's where we come in about. Like Canada's got a housing problem. Okay. Canada has all their money on 3-year terms. Hang on one second.
Yeah. No, this is
that's some sauce.
Yeah, no,
Holy shit.
That's why I had to unpack it again for them because commercial.
So 3 years.
And chat. The other thing I want to let you guys know, right, when it comes to commercial versus, residential, and I can tell you guys this from the big difference I saw when you're doing the commercial stuff. They look at the property and how much money it generates versus the lendee. But when you do residential, they look at you and your profile. Yeah. So when you go into the commercial game, you might need a little bit more money to get in, but they don't scrutinize you as hard as the property because the property is what they look at versus in residential, they care more about your credit score, how much money you have down payment, whatever. So that's why you're able to kind of make some more moves with the commercial stuff, like what Grant is saying.
Also, he made a very good point.
You're making a good point. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, just out to your point. You mentioned people are listing properties on Zillow, for example, just to list there, but they're not selling because, again, they just want to see how much they can get for the properity. They're
trolling, bro. They're trolling.
Yeah, they're trolling, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, hot chick goes to the club, goes to the bar, dresses up, spends an hour and a half getting there. Doesn't mean you're going home with her, bro. She could just be trolling.
Let me ask you this, Grant, because I'm sure you get a lot of people give you a lot of heat because you rally against the single family home theory. You think it's a waste of time. What would you say?
I rally against anything that hurts people.
Gotcha.
I'm the common man. I mean, I say this to people like, you ain't the common man. Okay, but that's where I came from, bro. I came from the bayous, Louisiana, and I'm a very simple person. And look, nobody has to take my advice. Shit's free, so you don't even have to listen to it. I'm just telling you how I stack mine. And it's undeniable that I did something right. I did it without banks, without the government, without sponsors. I have no sponsors on any shit we do. Nobody.
So let me ask you this, Grant, real quick. So I know you can't mention the company, but let's say, Black, and then you guys know what the ends with there. From what I've understood, they've been buying single family homes for the better part of the last 5 years, almost exclusively. They've been going crazy buying single family homes, right? But you say, hey, don't waste your time on single family homes. What would you say to a critic that might tell you, well, this big holding company is buying single family homes. Why don't you follow what they're doing versus listening to Grant? What would you say?
Because they're not buying one single family home at a time. They're buying companies that already assembled 6,000 homes.
Okay.
So you guys that think that they're buying one house at a time, Blackstone is not going to stop and buy a house.
So basically, the fact that they're buying it in such ridiculous bulk makes up for the fact.
The headlines say Blackstone's buying single family. No, they bought a company that assembled 6,000 units. Come on in. Come in, Rebecca.
Okay.
Makes sense.
That's an important distinction. That's an important distinction.
So Grant.
Yeah.
One
second, guys.
Okay, one second.
You want to just set up and then I just got to finish this. Whichever one you're comfortable with.
Always working. So real quick, right? Let's say someone says, "Okay, Grant, this is all good information, but you're rich, bro. Why are you talking to us right now? I'm just curious because I'm a common man. Why give us advice when you're already rich?"
Well, because it's the right thing to do, man. Why wouldn't I want to share? Like, why wouldn't I want to share what works? I mean, I can share it with my daughter, or I could share it with everybody.
Yeah.
Like I'm an educator. At heart, I'm just an educator. When I was 10 years old, my dad died. I wanted somebody to help me, and nobody helped me. And I swore by the time I was 12 or 13 years old, I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna fucking become somebody one day. I got a chip on my shoulder, and I'm gonna learn the game. And I don't know what game I'm gonna learn, but I'm gonna learn some shit. And I didn't have no clue what I was even talking about. And maybe God instilled me with being an educator and a mentor and a person of service. So, look, if I go to the dentist and the dentist does something good for me, I'm gonna tell other people about the dentist. It's just my way. And I think most people are like that. They want to show people hacks.
Question. So I didn't know that. I actually learned something new from you on the whole, BlackRock thing, them buying not necessarily single family homes, rather they're buying holding companies that own a bunch of these homes.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. So if someone wants to get in the game, right, and they want to get into real estate, they might not have as much money. How can they get their foot into the game through and kind of get to where you're at and quickly transition over to the commercial property? Or how can they potentially get a commercial property as their first property so they skip the whole single family thing?
See here, you just got to dig a little deeper on the data. By the way, this is just a practical thing that I'm showing you. When people tell you something, hey man, Blackstone's buying companies that own single family, okay?
Yeah.
Then say, show me the data. In real estate, show me the data. Just show me the data. Like, I won't listen to anybody that talks about crypto until they tell me how much their wallet is.
Okay.
If you want to tell me about Bitcoin, how much Bitcoin you got? I ain't telling you. Well, then I ain't listening.
Fair.
But you can't tell me I ain't listening. Blackstone will have the third largest U.S. single family portfolio once it completes its Tricon residential property acquisition. They bought the whole company. They didn't buy a single family home. Now, your viewer's going to watch this and say, yeah, but I don't have Blackstone's money, so I got to start somewhere. Do not start with one house.
That's what I was going to ask. So how should they start? That's exactly what I was
You
going
can
to
start with one house. But by the way, it's easier to get a loan on 32 units than it is to get a loan on one house. It's easier, by the way, to get a loan on 32 units with bad credit than it is to get a loan on one house.
Well, that is true because commercial assesses the property versus the
Individual.
potential lendee.
And they give you credit for the income.
Yeah.
But Grant, how would someone go about doing that then? Like maybe they don't have as much money. How can they go where they skip the single family home trap and then go right into commercial where the money is and they assess the property versus the lendee?
You do need to learn something first. So I mean, if you're not committed to learning something first, just take all this podcast that you're listening to right now and throw it away because I'm doing an event in Miami. It's called. They can find it at grantcardone.com/RE Summit. I don't even know if there's seats left. I have no clue. grantcardone.com/RE Summit. I think they're $495 tickets. It's not free. You got to get to Miami. It's not a government program. If you need one of those, wrong guy, wrong place. And it's 2 days of how to do exactly what I'm telling you right here.
We were there actually a couple years ago, or
Yes.
last year.
Yeah.
Come back as my guest. Come back as my guest because I'm going to show you what's going on in the correction markets right now. LA, San Diego, San Francisco. Unbelievable correction taking place. Dallas, Austin, the Tampa market, Orlando, Fort Lauderdale. Bro, the deals are crazy. Now your audience is going to be like, yeah, but I don't have the money. You don't need the money. You need the deal, and you need to learn how to share it with an audience, and your audience will fund the deal.
Okay. So just so I make sure I have this right. So to get into the residential game and kind of skip the single family home situation, you're saying there's ways to get in residential even with less money. It's just that you're going to probably need to crowdsource it potentially.
100% you're going to.
Okay.
Look, getting a loan is crowdsourcing. It's just going to Fannie Mae and you become Fannie Mae's bitch.
Gotcha.
You're trapped.
So
You're
basically,
trapped, bro.
make
You're
your own
trapped.
bank.
You got a lender.
trapped.
You got a lender. If you guys have good credit, you guys that have good credit and you got some money, you can put 25% down and you go get a loan from Goldman Sachs. Bro, they're telling you what the deal is. They tell you what to do. You don't tell them what to do. You're no longer in control of that deal. When I crowdsource a deal, and I've raised $1.6 billion over the internet. I'm probably the largest crowdfunder on planet Earth. And I'm not bragging. I'm actually complaining because it should be 16 billion, and it will be at some point. But I'm just saying, if I can do this, anyone can do this. No ad budget. I have a lot of trust. I have a brand, and I use my education, my front end education. I use that, make it affordable. People come get the education if they want to. Bunch of free content online, and then they come and see what I'm doing, and they're like, you know what? I'm just gonna give him the money to do it. Tiny percentage. Say, I'm just gonna do it with Grant as a partner because I make it so easy for them to invest in with me and become a partner with me in these unbelievable assets.
Okay.
It would be a very difficult undertaking if it was your first deal.
Gotcha. So would it be fair to say that, like, if someone wants to get into real estate and they're like, I want to skip the single family home thing and just go right into commercial where I'm now scrutinized as much. Pretty much the only way to do it is through, get with other people, turn yourselves into the bank versus trying to get a commercial loan from a bank to buy your first commercial property.
Saturday night, I was at a gala to celebrate the firemen of Los Angeles County for beating down the fires. After 6 or 7 days of fighting those fires, even though there was 18,000 homes lost. And I went by one of the tables and thanked a dozen firemen, and there was hundreds of them there. And I went to one table, and the guy's like, should I buy or should I sell right now? I said, what you dumbasses should do is you should put all your damn money together and buy the whole fucking neighborhood. That's what y'all ought to do.
That's smart.